Hi everyone, my name is Marika DeRoos. I'm the Communications Coordinator with Heritage Saskatchewan, and today I'm joined by Suzanne Pambrun, Administrator with the the Saskatchewan Heritage Foundation, and Margaret Huntington, who is the Chair. And we're chatting today because 2021 marks a special year for the foundation. It is celebrating its 30th year of existence, having funded hundreds of heritage preservation initiatives throughout Saskatchewan, many of which many listening have likely either heard of or visited. So Margaret, could you give us a brief history of the foundation?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Marika. This is a special year for us. We're very proud and very happy to be celebrating our 30th anniversary. The Saskatchewan Heritage Foundation was actually established in 1991 through an act of legislature, and it's governed by a board of directors who are appointed by the Lieutenant Governor and Council. Our mandate is to provide grants to individuals, to community groups, municipalities, and to corporations who are working to preserve our province's built heritage. We support those groups through our grant programs in their efforts to restore and rehabilitate the properties that have meant so much to them and or to their communities over many, many years.
Excellent. Well,
Yes.
sorry, not to cut you off.
Well, I just wanted to make one point. I wanted to say that after 30 years, we have, and the government of Saskatchewan, through the Heritage Foundation, has invested more than $10 million in our province's built heritage.
Wow, such a worthy cause. That is incredible. So, Margaret, you touched on this a little bit. Suzanne, I wanted to ask specifically what kind of initiatives does the foundation fund?
Okay, well, our projects aim at restoring or rehabilitating buildings that have been designated as significant for historic or architectural qualities. That's built heritage. So right now we offer up to 50% funding on any kind of built heritage projects. Now we do have two current programs available. One is for designated heritage properties and the other one is for commercial heritage property, which is a one-time grant, does not need to be designated. So again, one time up to $10,000 for that particular program. Of course, our biggest grant program is the Built Heritage, which is a designated program. We do not fund anything on the interior of designated properties. So we focus on the exterior only. When we're talking about restoration of that exterior, we're talking about programs. Our programs offer you to continue or return to use original material. So for instance, if somebody needed to redo their roof and it was originally a cedar roof and today they want to go and put a metal or asphalt roof on there, that does not qualify for funding. So it's continuing or returning to use original material. So going back to probably cedar roof shakes. The other thing too here is that when it comes to structural issues, after I've just mentioned that we don't fund anything on the interior, if there is structural issues going on, that can be considered eligible as well for funding.
Okay. And who typically applies? Who's allowed to apply for funding?
Well, applications are welcome for municipalities, Indigenous communities, incorporated not-for-profit organizations, private individuals, or corporations. So properties that are federally or provincially owned are not eligible for funding. And out of province applicants may apply for direct project costs related to the conservation of a Saskatchewan heritage resource.
Interesting. So beyond funding, are there other ways that you support successful applicants?
Well, I work with applicants to ensure that their submission is sound and complete, and I can also put them in touch with either previous applicants to find out, what did they do? What worked for them? What didn't work? Who did they use? How did they find them? So they could have that one-on-one contact with each other, and I don't get involved in that. But it's nice to hear from other applicants who have done similar work, what worked, what didn't work, who did they use, and they can talk to each other. Do they recommend them? Don't they recommend them? So it really puts communities in touch with other communities as well when it comes to similar projects.
That's a fantastic, amazing. So Margaret, why is it important to preserve built heritage? And do you see ties between physical heritage preservation and living heritage?
Yes, I think there are very tight bonds between living heritage and our built heritage. When I think of living heritage, I think of things like our customs, our practices, our art, and our stories that we tell. And it's, very obvious that those activities take place somewhere. They take place in a building or sometimes outside, but very often within buildings like museums, like churches, government buildings even, although we don't fund government buildings necessarily. Well, I guess that's not quite true in all cases. But those buildings are kind of the manifestations. They're the physical manifestation of living heritage. And so I think it's tremendously important that we keep those buildings as a reminder of past practices, past customs, the things that people used to do and love. I think it helps define the character of a place, of our province, Saskatchewan, and I think it's of great importance that we retain a link to our past, to our history.
Absolutely. I think those of us at Heritage Sask couldn't agree more. Suzanne, are there any memorable projects over the past 30 years that you consider to have been successful outcomes as a result of your funding?
There's many projects over the 30 years that the foundation has funded. The most memorable to me, and the ones that I really like, of course, being a Saskatchewan farm girl, is the hip roof barns. And we've recently done one, the 1923 hip roof barn out in the RM of Bruno. And the guy did a fantastic job of restoring the entire barn. It looks so amazing from before and after shots. And for some reason, we're getting a lot of requests right now for barns, which I think is encouraging. So he's been probably getting a lot of contact information from people I've been sending to him, which is great too. Another project, of course, would be the Yorkton Flour Mill. That has come pretty much from a ruins to being almost completely restored. The community in Yorkton has really gathered behind that. They do host an annual fundraising dinner every year that, with the exception, of course, of last year due to COVID, but it's been sold out well in advance for many years, which is great for them. Good community support, helping that community get that back up and running. Another one, of course, would be Maple Creek. Maple Creek did a lot of projects when the Main Street program was running. So we helped to fund a lot of the projects in Maple Creek. And Maple Creek actually in 2019, yeah, they won the Prince of Wales Prize, which is through His Royal Highness, and it's the prize which is awarded by Canada to a deserving local government, large or small, urban or rural, which has demonstrated exemplary commitment to the preservation of built heritage within its boundaries. And they won that award. So really good for Maple Creek community as well. Another one, of course, was the Fleming elevator. So elevators, of course, we all know are disappearing across our landscape. The Fleming elevator was completely restored. It was ready to have its grand opening, and unfortunately, literally overnight, it was destroyed by arson. So that's kind of a sad project as well, but it's a project that put so much community effort into it and had achieved exactly what they were looking to do. So there's lots of projects across the province, and that's just a highlight of a few that I think we've been successful in helping them to raise funds or get funds in place to help them do that work.
That's wonderful. I would encourage everybody to head over to the Sask Heritage Foundation website, which is saskheritagefoundation.com. And to see a list of these great success stories that Suzanne has mentioned and others. You can find their annual report from this year and years past. And I would encourage everybody to read our blog post as well, which covers some of the topics we've talked about today. So thank you so much, Margaret and Suzanne. It was really great to chat with you today.
Thank you very much, Marika.
And
Thanks.
happy 30 years.
Thank you.